Hey everybody, welcome into Live with Greg. I believe it's Wednesday. It is Wednesday. How's it going, everybody? I'm so thrilled to be talking to Chef Lamont Johnson. How's it going, my friend?
Doing good, Greg. I'm feeling pretty good these days.
You know what? I just was just shocked to hear that you are retiring 45 years catering, doing so much across this community in Chattanooga, Tennessee. First off, before we even talk about the retirement, how in the world did you get into catering?
Man, that's why I had to write this book last year because it took a lot of things. I grew up right here in the downtown area on 8th Street, and some of my time spent on Riverside Drive. So I learned a lot of cooking from my grandparents, my great grandparents, who taught me a lot of techniques and ways of cooking that it got my interest. So by the time I got to the military, man, cooking was like a natural for me. So I got out of one field and got into the to food service, and that made things happen a little bit better for me.
When you think about your career, 45 years, almost 50 years in
Yeah,
food service, what has this journey been like for you?
it's been really great. I've enjoyed every moment of being in the food service industry. It's just watching the smiles on people's face after they taste the food, just looking at some of the surprises that be on their face when they taste some of the seasonings and things that we put together, and it's like, wow, this is a pleasant surprise of flavors that you've come up with. So just those things like that, that's really what keep me going.
When you think back to your childhood, when did you really know you can cook?
I probably was around the first grade. You get home early for everybody do get from work. My grandmother, my great grandmother who raised me, she used to do some domestic work up on the mountain, and she would have to walk down to the foot of the incline and catch a bus and come home and then transfer. So by the time she hit 8th Street, it would be late in the evening. So a lot of times I would just go in the kitchen and start putting some stuff together after I got out of school. And I think it was about the first grade I fried my first chicken wings. They had chicken wings and rice and gravy.
When they say, when moms or grandmothers always say, "Look, this is how you cook. So if I'm not here, you can cook on your own, or you're gonna
Right,
starve."
right. Used to watch him, and you'd be in the kitchen with him a lot of time. But my great grandfather, he was a great barbecuer, and anytime he started barbecuing, I would just be with him the whole day. Get up for the day breaks, and we cook on barbecue all day long. So I just learned all his techniques of barbecuing.
When you think back, starting your career and being a chef and business opportunities, what have you learned over this journey about yourself?
Well, when I first got into it, I was learning how to make these flavors and come up with good tasting meals, things that I would enjoy. But once I got to cooking, I started wanting to do some things in the community and give back to it. So my times at UTC and Siskin Hospital, when we started those programs, they helped me to realize that I had a little bit of teaching abilities, and that's why I started teaching this culinary arts up at Bradley Central about 5 years ago.
Being able to be in the classroom and teach future chefs and future, food service folks, what has that been like for you, teaching these young folks how to cook?
The best part about it was I didn't just only teach them how to cook. I taught them about being a valuable human being, learning how to have community and associate with each other. We was all races up there, so it helped us to see what our common goals was and look at all our differences, so that they started to appreciate me as much as I appreciated them.
When you look at opening a restaurant and catering, what has been the best part for you? Did you enjoy the restaurant more so, or catering? What's your preference?
Wow. I really enjoyed the catering because it gave me opportunity to come up with all different dishes. The restaurant, I did a lot of the same dishes on a regular basis, So that was good to let people know that the same flavors that you got last week, you could get it this week. And 2 months down the road, you come back, the chicken and dumplings are going to taste the same. But catering, I got a chance to do things with ice sculpturing, with fruit and vegetable sculpture, with coming up with different dishes, French cuisine, Italian cuisine, some island foods, stuff out of New Orleans. So we know we had a variety of menus that we could come up with when we cater.
You've cooked for so many people over your nearly 50-year career. Who stands out when it comes to people eating your food? Any celebrities or politicians? Anybody that stands out that just really were just mesmerized by everything that you had on the plate?
Well, I tell you, one of my biggest times was when I did a meal for President Reagan when he was here in Chattanooga. That was a great experience to just operate with some of the kitchen staff that came from the White House. But my most memorable times was with Maya Angelou, who she kidded me about some of the things that we fixed for her, and it was such a great meal that brings her back to memories of the South. So I think that was some of the fun times. You know, we cooked for quite a few celebrities over our time, but those two kind of stood out in my own mind.
When you think about cooking for President Reagan, when a president comes to town, there's a lot of Secret Service, a lot of things happening. What was that
Right.
experience like leading up to the moment when you got a chance to get in the presence of the president? And what did he tell you?
Well, it was more of just the tension of having everybody moving around. You can't do certain things. Once you get in one area, you need to stay there until everything is prepped. Working with his White House staff because they end up fixing all of his food. We just end up fixing the food that they wanted to fix the food that I was fixing. So we all kind of got together with it. Uh, some of the memorable things with that was that it was that he enjoyed just coming to having some good Southern cuisine that came out of the university because I was at UTC when he came to town at that particular time, and it was just a fun thing to be able to see how all of the behind the scenes was working with something that big. So I had a great experience. I was quite younger then too. I was in my late 20s, getting ready to be in the 30s. So I'm like, okay, but that was some really fun times.
And when you think about Maya Angelou, she's just iconic when it comes to a poet. What were you nervous being in the presence of Dr. Maya Angelou?
Oh yes, but just listen to some of the wisdom that came from her. You know, she talked about what it was like when she first came around some areas in the South. She had been to Chattanooga before when she was in Atlanta. So some things that she had just said just kept me just mesmerized with some of the things that she had been through as much as we had saw a lot of things in the 60s too, so I was quite a young guy, but we was out there in the streets with a lot of the activities was going on, the riots was going on, protesting. So to hear the things that came from her, it gave me another appreciation for what we was doing right here in Chattanooga.
When you look back over your career and you prepare to step down and go into a life of retirement, what do you hope people remember about you?
Well, the main thing I hope that they would always get from us is that we tried to be honest with whatever we did. We tried to give them a good meal for a fair price. That we tried to always be consistent with our foods. I like to know that we had heart healthy food. I'm a I'm a real cleanliness freak, they would say, because I really love the health department when they come in and do the inspections. I like for them to go ahead on and do some things that they used to. People get nervous about the health department. I'd be like, man, I'm glad they're here because we can do some stuff. So I would like for them to know that we was really interested in making sure that our food was safe, that we had good quality food, and we always had great service. I wanted the people to always know that we cared about them as they was in our eating our food.
Over the past year, we've been dealing with COVID-19. What did you learn about yourself during the time of quarantine?
Well, in quarantine, Greg, I'll tell you, it made me do a lot of reflecting on myself and things that I had been through over my short history in this world. I started to write this book, and that's why I end up penning the book. We call it Char Roots. I don't know if you could see what's going on, but Char Roots was the book that I came up with, and it tells my whole history of getting started with the food service industry, from my grandparents uh, to military to going to school, uh, finding out things, opening, working at Siskin Hospital and UTC, and open up our own catering and restaurant. It goes through the whole gambit of my food career in this one book that we're selling now. So, and I have this book this coming Saturday at the restaurant. We will have some things going on.
For people watching, if they want to get the book, I know they can get it this weekend, but also where can we find it online?
You can get it off of Amazon. Just look for Lamont's Char Roots. It tells the roots of Chattanooga. Also, it telling the roots of how we cook with roots. One of my best ingredients with cooking is onions and garlic. So those are two of my favorite go-tos. So it tells you about how we cook with roots and my roots of growing up here in Chattanooga.
I know that you're preparing to retire, and you probably don't want to give out your secrets, but did you ever have any secret like rituals or things you would do in the kitchen that made your food stand out among the rest?
Not so much secrets. Is just like what we go to. I always wanted to make sure that we always had the freshest, prettiest looking vegetables and fruits before we even get started. Some of the things I like is making sure everything is clean and prepped really good. We would like to make sure that all our people was clean, sanitation, and hygiene was one of my priorities with all my employees. So those are kind of things that we just really went through. Uh, Food, cooking it, it was so much easier to get the flavors going. You know, it's almost like I could do some stuff in my sleep. So we
When
just had a
when
good time with it.
the book is already out now and people can get it on Amazon, but when you almost 50 years in the business and you're retiring, what was the turning point? What happened to make you say, you know what? I'm going to retire and enjoy these great years that I have left.
Well, I mean, seeing the pandemic come in, that kind of gave me a thoughts that things was, time is short. Uh, I'm hitting close to 70 now. I'm 68. So I'm thinking, well, at this time, I'm still feeling pretty good. I wanted to get out here. We started growing our garden. I like to do a little fishing, play some pool from time to time. So I say, well, let me just get to a place that I can just enjoy life, enjoy the time with my wife. We've been married for 39 years now, and we just needed some time that we could just spend alone. Uh, Got the children all raised, the grandchildren, most of them going to college and stuff. So we say, okay, now let's take some time for us.
When you think about your wife, married 39 years, how
Mm.
has she made you a better man?
Oh my goodness. Now, that's a loaded question right there, Greg, but I'm gonna try to help you with that one. Uh, a lot of things she's encouraged me with. Some of the stuff that we fall out about is the stuff that I really admired about her. It was that she's a pusher. She keeps things going. She keeps me moving with a lot of enthusiasm on what's the outcome going to be. So she the one that if I got a vision to do something, she'll make it happen. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes I get a little bit frustrated with her, but in order to get to where we want to go, when she gets in here and start working with me and we start making this stuff happen, it looks like it's been really easy, but it's because of her drive that we got to where we at with some of this stuff.
When you think about, you being with your wife for almost 40 years, in today's time,
Mm.
so many young people, they get married and, something happens and they're like, you know what? I'm out. I'm done. What
Right.
advice do you have for folks out there who are young folks getting married, getting in relationships? What would you say to them when times get tough from a man who's been at this game almost 40 years?
Well, one of my first things is to say that you got to put God first in everything that we do. Uh, in in the Bible, it talks about Jesus said that He had died for us before we even loved Him. He loved us, and He commanded man to love his wife as He loved the church. So that's my one of my first verses that I really took heart to, is that even when things that she didn't love me, or if she wasn't lovable, I still loved her because Christ loved me when I wasn't lovable. The next thing is that we got to pick our own battles, and we don't never want to fight to a point that uh, you say things or you do things that you can't reverse. So you always want to be able to say, we are what we came up with. We're gonna fight fair. I'm gonna say my part, and I'm gonna let you say your part, but I'm gonna hear you. And if I can hear you, then whether it's I feel like it's right or wrong, let me listen and hear you. So I like for young men especially, is we say we in charge, we take care of things, but our wives was there to help us get to where we want to be. And like I say, I wouldn't have got to a lot of places without the help of my wife going through some things with me. So a lot of times we didn't agree on it, but I always listened to her and I heard her. And when I hear her, sometimes I would change my idea on some things. So you always listen to your wife and hear her or your significant other, because a lot of times you got to be friends with each other before you get married to each other.
That is so true. When you think about retirement, is there any possibility that someone can lure you out of retirement just for one event? Or you just like you're done?
No, I'm not quite just done. I'm closing the restaurant down. I'm not doing the cooking like we used to, but I do feel like that I still got a lot left in me. I want to go out to some of the high schools. I want to pour back into some of the culinary programs that's already going on. See if I can do a little bit of help there. One of my big things is that I want to mentor those that's trying to start restaurants, food trucks and things like that. Some of the pitfalls that I had when I was trying to get my restaurant open, I was hoping that some of these young people, even older people that's getting into this business new, won't have to go through, and we can kind of help them get around some things, because finances is your biggest problem with trying to get into a business. And
Mhm.
finances, we'd be like, well, they loan these folks money, or they loan other people money, but I can't get money to do what I need to do. But that's not quite the truth. Sometimes you got to reroute, you got to replan, you got to do some things to make your business work for you. And if we can help each other, then I think business in Chattanooga going to be a lot better. I'm liking what I see with the restaurants, the food trucks, the culinary businesses that's opening up. These people got some really good products, and I'm thinking it's going to be a really good summer this year with getting to see what kind of food we got here in Chattanooga.
And as we wrap up today, you're going to be honored coming up this weekend. I know the deadline has already passed for people to RSVP, but what are you looking? What are you most looking forward to when it comes to people coming out and celebrating you?
Well, I'm looking to see some of my old customers, some of the people that probably didn't get the chance to eat some of our food, and let them know how much I appreciate Chattanooga for being the people that has really supported us over these years. Uh, I've gotten great reviews from different folks that have ate my food, and I just want to be able to look at them in the eye and tell them how much I really appreciate them for being who they were for us over the years, as well as being able to help some upcoming food vendors.
Any final thoughts?
Well, I just want everybody to know that it's kind of bittersweet, but I love what's happened here in Chattanooga. I've done. We looked back at some pictures we had, and we was doing the Best of Smith strut. I did the Best of Smith strut for over 17, 18 years in a row, and there was some really fun times. The news media, the public, everybody supported us so well. While we was down there, we used to set up right there on the Bessie Smith lawn, and we did those big turkey legs and rib sandwiches. And so I just look back and say that was some times that I'm gonna really miss. But I will be back out there. I might not be cooking. I'll be sitting there in line with everybody. But I'm looking forward to just being able to enjoy some of those times again.
When you talk about eating other people's cooking, are you one of those critics where you like Hell's Kitchen, the chef in the kitchen, where you're real judgment? Are you more quiet and you'll like look at your wife and say, you know what, don't get that? Or you just what are you like?
Well, she kids me all the time because I'm often telling her we go to restaurants. She say, "I'm gonna get some barbecue chicken." I say, "No, don't get the barbecue chicken, baby. You know, barbecue chicken is not what it is when you get it from us. We can get some other things, but I do like a lot of other dishes that coming from some of the restaurants around here, and I'm just getting to taste some newer places. Uh, like I enjoyed going out to Easy Bistro and some of those places. The Where we went to, the right down at the Choo Choo. They got some nice places down there. We enjoy just going out and just eating. And a lot of time people don't know who I am, so that's good to know. We got a lot of new folks in town, so a lot of time people be watching you say, okay, what are you gonna get? What is it? So now I can go out and I don't have to get that kind of look. So I'm looking forward to going back down and eating at some of the places in the North Shore and downtown, the Main Street area, South Side. Everybody got a lot of new stuff going on, and I'm really excited about trying to get out and try to see what's going on with the food.
Sounds good, my friend. Nearly 50 years, an amazing career. I just want to tell you, happy retirement. I know that you have so much more to come, traveling, Paris, Europe, everything else that you deserve. You've worked
Well,
so hard and you deserve all of it.
well, thank you so much, Greg. I appreciate you guys taking time out to just talk to an old man like me, and hopefully we can get some more wisdom out to some of these young folks, and still get some good food going on. So sooner or later, I get you down here and get you a rib taste in your mouth.
Sounds good. You know what? I'm from Alabama, so you know what? I grew up in the country, so that's a part of my life, my upbringing.
All right, then. Sounds really good.
I appreciate it, my friend. Again, Chef Johnson, Lamont Johnson, almost 45 years. Is it
Yeah.
45 years? 45 years catering in Chattanooga, doing some great work. He's worked with some amazing folks, done some great things, retiring as of this weekend. So I wish you the best. Thank you for talking to me tonight. I really appreciate it.
Right. We'll be celebrating down at the old Cafe LeMont on 801 Dodge Avenue. So, if people stop by, they can see me, they can pick up a book. We from 3 to 5, we'll be down there. So look forward to seeing the public.
Sounds good. Hold that book up again one more time and tell us where can we get it.
Char Roots. You can get this book at Cafe Lamont Saturday, or you can pick it up on Amazon. The book cost is $32.75. On Amazon, I'm thinking it might be just a little bit more, but you can pick it up on Amazon, or you can come by 801 Dodge Avenue and find me there.
Sounds good, my friend. I really appreciate it. Happy retirement. And I know you got some amazing things coming down in the next weeks, months, years to come because you got so much more to give to the community.
Yes, thank you so much.
No problem. Good night, everybody.